it's a variation moving your left hand around, whatever right.
So whenever we want to talk about leading mode, that's the mode.
To build our A-rootless voicing, which is the first kind of voicing, is simply...
Industry literacy will take you on a journey through the music business.
It's a great way to make money if your touring is down, if you have...
And proper studio etiquette.
To the left, it's actually increasing the volume of that track on the left.
With composition, you'll get into the fundamentals of music theory.
Let's say that in a real-life situation, we have a singer that cannot sing in a particular key.
And composition.
The B section we have so far.
And finally, production will see you choosing between DAWs to round off your knowledge. Of course, you don't have to take this journey alone. Our incredible network of mentors is available to you for one-on-one chats to keep you on pace and confident in your education. You may even recognize some faces from your video lessons. This is a program that is designed to prepare you to work in the modern music industry. By the end, you should be fully ready to top the charts, take the stage, and create your own ideal musical universe. Let's get started.
What's up, guys? It's Nog. I'm here at Sound Collective for our industry mixer. This event is for all local DJs, artists, producers, and nightlife professionals to come and network with each other. Here at Sound Collective, we're going to be able to use a bunch of different production stations, booths, CDJs, and so many toys that are every audio producer's dream. This is the first of many events we're going to have at this venue with all these great artists and talent together, and you're going to have a chance to have all your tracks listened to and get some feedback as well, so stay tuned for more.
Hello and welcome to the Collective Masters live class. I'm Vinny Pagano. I'm going to teach you guys today some of the things that I've learned through some of my recording sessions. Right now we're running 11 different microphones, 11 cables, 11 inputs. Things can start to get pretty complicated. Just make sure that everything is coming in at a healthy level, but not clipping. We're just going to do a couple of takes of this, and then we'll get on to the mixing. All right, our tom's clipped again, so we'll do one more take, please. May I have you go again? What I really want to try to do is add a little bit of reverb to this. It's gonna just give a little bit more splash to your snares. If you want to get into some more drum mixing and recording, come on down to the Collective. Thanks a lot.
Peace, everyone. My name is Divine Drummer. Been producing a little over 30 years. I've done tracks for the likes of Elder Sensei, Sadat X, Bumpy Knuckles, Georgia Ann Muldrow, Scatter RP, and Naps and Dreads, and a slew of others, man. I'm down at the Sound Collective today to show you about the beast of an app called Koala. This app is so fire. I promise you, you'll be making beats like no other. Once you check out my easy tutorials I have set, you'll learn how to import samples. You'll learn how to add effects to samples, filter samples. Hell, you're gonna even be able to make a bass line if you follow those steps. I promise you, this is so easy. Let's not waste no more time. Let's get into it.
So for the DJ Intensive, I went down and got really nitty-gritty into the details on how to get a DJ gig from a complete beginner.
In Manhattan, as I realized, there's no place to play drums, and so originally I was looking for a spot to just play drums. And I came upon this place through a Google search and kind of started scrolling through and seeing everything that is available here. And I'm not a DJ, or at least I wasn't a DJ, but I've always been curious about it. So I came in and I talked to the guys and they put me into this DJ intensive, and 2 weeks into it, I'm getting pretty comfortable doing it.
We'll be teaching the art of mixing, which is transitions, going from one song to the next, holding some of those transitions, which can also be looked at as a mashup or a blend, remixing, and some basic DJing skills like cuts, scratches, and the idea of playing what you like and also catering to the crowd, and find that happy balance between introducing people to new music and also giving them a little bit of what they enjoy, and finding a creative way to do that.
Through my techniques, I can teach you how to create the music and then get it to the right record labels. I usually do DJ instructions, how to use Pioneer turntables, music production using Ableton or Logic, and I'll show you exactly how you can create something from nothing and make it a big banger.
A big part of this program is learning about the music industry and how to promote yourself, and what it takes to do music production, which is also part of this DJ class, what it takes to get your name out there, what it takes to contact record companies or distribution companies, a lot of the business stuff that I also had never really thought about. So let's see where it goes.
My teaching style is kind of like the Bruce Lee be like water. It's like the style of no style, whatever fits at the time. So if I see somebody needs a little bit more encouragement, I'll be a little bit more suggestive, or maybe you could do this. Sometimes people get stuck and get caught in their head.
It would take me forever to buy equipment and get it set up and try to figure it out on my own or through YouTube videos or things like that. But being able to come in here and all this equipment just available and guys here to just very patiently walk me through it, it was a crash course. I learned more in this 2 weeks than I could have learned in a year easily.
And then not only do I like to just teach, I kind of like to connect afterwards and make sure that you're still on the right path. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to just take this course and kind of feel like you're left with nowhere or no type of guidance. I can be that type of guidance for you.
I'm going to take that knowledge and kind of sit down and diligently work through what I want to do. But ultimately, I want to get some songs out. I want to play out and just kind of see where it goes.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's me, Ski Beats at Sound Collective. Welcome to the dojo. Well, for those who don't know me, I'm a hip-hop producer. Did some cool records with some cool artists, Jay-Z, Camp Lo. Man, look, the list goes on. Basically, the dojo is a community-based type of thing, man, because it's all about, everybody lifting each other up. And they say, still sharpens still, so bring the swords to the dojo. The first thing I'm gonna do off bat is give you a sample, give you 30 minutes, see if you can flip it. That way I can test your skill level. We're gonna get into composing, how to arrange your music, how to sequence your beats. It's all different types of techniques, man, when it comes to production. You can do anything, bruh. It's the dojo. It's where we turn students into senseis.
Welcome to the Sound Collective. Our 28 Broadway facility is fully equipped to provide you with the tools of today's top industry professionals. Are you a DJ looking to practice for your next gig? A drummer who needs a place to practice your rudiments? Looking to host live performances, group events, practice sessions, or more? Need a place to record your next project? Unlock your ability to use all of these amenities and more with the Sound Collective membership. Send us a message to learn more.
Hey, what's up? I'm Lefty.
And I'm Rich Furness, and welcome to Groove City. Lefty and I are both DJs and producers here in New York City. We also work here at the Sound Collective, and we run a record label called Quincy Boy Records with our boy N2N.
Yes, and we couldn't be more excited to bring this new podcast to you, where we bring DJ culture to the forefront, interviewing producers and DJs, telling their backstory, followed by a 30-minute DJ set. So we hope you enjoy it, and thanks so much for watching.
Much love.
Hi everybody, my name is Jacinta Clusellas and this is Introduction to Finale. I am a composer, arranger, and guitarist from Buenos Aires, Argentina, and I have been based in New York for the past 6 years. I am a teaching artist at the New York Philharmonic, and I work as a composer, arranger, and guitarist with multiple projects in the city as well as internationally. In this course, we'll be diving into score setup and layout, different options for note input, getting familiar with tools such as articulations, dynamics, filter tools, and using shortcuts. By the end of this course, you should feel very comfortable with Finale, navigating the software and creating your own music, and you should be ready to export your music in order to share it with producers, recording artists, and musicians. Welcome, and let's dive in.
One cool thing to remember about the pocket operator when they're synced up all together is to make sure you set the volume for all of them. So I'm gonna go over here and press play on all the pocket operators. So the speak is gonna be the main volume out. So let's say I wanna turn down this. It's also gonna turn down the KO since it's connected to that one. So just make sure that all the sounds are set to a good amount, to a good volume. To learn more, go to soundcollective.com.
Hi, I'm John. I produce music under the name Proper Villains, and I'm teaching a course on how to program percussive sounds in X for Serum. I'm going to show you a quick lesson right now on how to make a TR-808 clap in Serum. Turn your level all the way down, then we're going to assign LFO 1 to the level. We're going to switch it to envelope, and we're going to turn off the BPM sync. Drag this to the left, and now we have a very basic noise pulse. So a clap's just sort of like a little pulse of white noise with teeth. So we're just going to go right in and draw the teeth. Turn on the distortion. We'll pick up our hard clip and just crank that baby. Bring the mix down a little bit. And there you go, a TR-808 clap in Serum. If you like what you've heard and I piqued your interest, check me out on soundcollective.com.
I want to welcome everybody to the Sound Collective. We are a collective for you guys to come and meet as a community. We have a bunch of really awesome events planned for the summer. If you guys want to just dive in, learn Ableton, Logic, learn an instrument like drums, keyboard, vocals, any of that stuff, we'd love to have you, and we're really excited to build with you guys as a community. No further ado, I will introduce my brother, an amazing producer. Lefty's going to go ahead and do a breakdown.
Thank you everybody for coming out here for this. So this was like a topper. Had some hats, some bongos and claps. I did an EQ to cut out some of the sharpness of the hat because it was conflicting with the other loops that I had in there playing hi-hats. Does anybody have any questions? We got another one here. Follow Sound Collective on Instagram to keep up with our events. Thank you guys for hanging out.
Okay, let's complete this big build-up scenario by adding a few more elements to just get it to pop. Yes, there you have it. There you have it. We have our epic build-up breakdown scenario. Peace.
My name is Manuel Valera, and this is Modern Composition. I've been fortunate to travel the world playing my own compositions and collaborating with artists like Joshua Bell, Paquito de Rivera, Arturo Sandoval, and many others. I have also received a number of prestigious awards, such as the Guggenheim Fellowship in 2019. I won a Grammy as well, and I've been nominated multiple times in the past. In this course, we will cover fundamental composition concepts, ways to develop harmonic, melodic, and rhythmic ideas, composing using traditional methods as well as in a DAW, and how to prepare your compositions to be played by live musicians from a small ensemble to a philharmonic orchestra. These skills can help you in a variety of career paths, such as composing for film and TV, arranging for performing artists, as well as your own personal projects. Let's dive in.
This track, OSAA, long journey from demo to drop. My stock beat made on a laptop on tour. Bringing it to my buddy J Criv, us deciding to produce something together, start adding elements, layering a lot of stuff, live instrumentation, working on the drums a bunch. Taking shape. The real icing on the cake, our buddy Sammy, a Cameroonian vocalist, adding his vocals. Then followed by the mixing and mastering process. So the final version. Cool. So that's a bit of this track's story from demo to drop. To learn more, visit soundcollective.com.
Want to thank Sisters and Sounds for hosting this event in conjunction with Sound Collective, and we just want to open the space to everyone.
People ask me all the time, Ariana, how do I get booked? How do I get booked? And the truth is just make and play good frickin' music.
Give space, take space, but don't make yourself small. Establish your boundaries and stand firm.
This is Smack Pack Season 1 finale.
We back, baby.
This is the cream of the crop. The best of the best.
Who you got your money on? Devon is on his boom bap heavy. Jewels is like on some atmospheres, doing something totally different over there. Flames, emoji, melodic thing happening with the crazy switch ups. Overlord, you know, that bounce is ridiculous. This is why I love hip hop music, man. It's just so colorful, you know what I mean? This is it. This is the grand finale. It's going down.
Crunch time for real. 3, 2, 1.
Step away from the machine. Von Drummer, let's see what you got, baby. Drum game crazy.
Woo! I think it's Divine Drummer, bro.
Divine Drummer. Congratulations, baby.
What's happening, Divine Drummer?
One of my favorite features is using a tape loops on this machine. It's when I use the pitch control. And I also use the tape speed control to create nice soundscapes. To learn more, visit soundcollective.com.
Welcome to the Sound Collective Professional Music Entrepreneurship Certificate Program. This program is your opportunity to earn a certificate in music entrepreneurship anywhere and anytime. To earn your certificate, you must complete learning paths in 4 required categories: performance, industry literacy, composition, and production. Within performance, you can choose from a selection of various instruments to begin mastering your skill.
And it's a variation moving your left hand around, whatever right.
So whenever we want to talk about leading mode, that's the mode.
Build our A rootless voicing, which is the first kind of voicing, is simply.
Industry literacy will take you on a journey through the music business
It's a great way to make money if your touring is down, if you have
and
that.
proper studio etiquette.
To the left, it's actually increasing the volume of that track on the left.
With composition, you'll get into the fundamentals of music theory
Let's say that in a real life situation, we have a singer that cannot sing in a particular key.
and composition.
The B section we have so far.
And finally, production will see you choosing between DAWs to round off your knowledge. Of course, you don't have to take this journey alone. Our incredible network of mentors is available to you for one-on-one chats to keep you on pace and confident in your education. You may even recognize some faces from your video lessons. This is a program that is designed to prepare you to work in the modern music industry. By the end, you should be fully ready to top the charts, take the stage, and create your own ideal musical universe. Let's get started.
What's up, guys? It's Nog. I'm here at Sound Collective for our industry mixer. This event is for all local DJs, artists, producers, and nightlife professionals to come and network with each other. Here at Sound Collective, we're going to be able to use a bunch of different production stations, booths, CDJs, and so many toys that are every audio producer's dream. This is the first of many events we're going to have at this venue with all these great artists and talent together, and you're going to have a chance to have all your tracks listened to and get some feedback as well, so stay tuned for more.
Hello and welcome to the Collective Masters Live class. I'm Vinny Pagano. I'm going to teach you guys today some of the things that I've learned through some of my recording sessions. Right now we're running 11 different microphones, 11 cables, 11 inputs. Things can start to get pretty complicated. Just make sure that everything is coming in at a healthy level, but not clipping. We're just going to do a couple of takes of this, and then we'll get on to the mixing. All right, our tom's clipped again, so we'll do one more take, please. Let me have you go again. What I really want to try to do is add a little bit of reverb to this. It's gonna just give a little bit more splash to your snares. If you want to get into some more drum mixing and recording, come on down to the Collective. Thanks a lot.
Peace, everyone. My name is Divine Drummer. Been producing a little over 30 years. I've done tracks for the likes of Elder Sensei, Sadat X, Bumpy Knuckles, Georgia Ann Muldrow, Scatter RP, and Naps and Dreads, and a slew of others, man. I'm down at the Sound Collective today to show you about the beast of an app called Koala. This app is so fire. I promise you, you'll be making beats like no other. Once you check out my easy tutorials I have set, you'll learn how to import samples. You'll learn how to add effects to samples, filter samples. Hell, you're gonna even be able to make a bass line if you follow those steps. I promise you, this is so easy, let's not waste no more time. Let's get into it.
So for the DJ intensive, I went down and got really nitty-gritty into the details on how to get a DJ gig from a complete beginner.
In Manhattan, as I realized, there's no place to play drums, and so originally I was looking for a spot to just play drums. And I came upon this place through Google search and kind of started scrolling through and seeing everything that is available here. And I'm not a DJ, or at least I wasn't a DJ, but I've always been curious about it. So I came in and I talked to the guys, and they put me into this DJ intensive, and 2 weeks into it, I'm getting pretty comfortable doing it.
We'll be teaching the art of mixing, which is transitions, going from one song to the next, holding some of those transitions, which can also be looked at as a mashup or a blend, remixing, and some basic DJing skills like cuts, scratches, and the idea of playing what you like and also catering to the crowd, and find that happy balance between introducing people to new music and also giving them a little bit of what they enjoy, and finding a creative way to do that.
Through my techniques, I can teach you how to create the music and then get it to the right record labels. I usually do DJ instructions, how to use Pioneer turntables, music production using Ableton or Logic, and I'll show you exactly how you can create something from nothing and make it a big banger.
A big part of this program is learning about the music industry and how to promote yourself, and what it takes to do music production, which is also part of this DJ class, what it takes to get your name out there, what it takes to contact record companies or distribution companies, a lot of the business stuff that I also had never really thought about. So see where it goes.
My teaching style is kind of like the Bruce Lee be like water. It's like the style of no style, whatever fits at the time. So if I see somebody needs a little bit more encouragement, I'll be a little bit more suggestive, or maybe you could do this. Sometimes people get stuck and get caught in their head.
It would take me forever to buy equipment and get it set up and try to figure it out on my own or through YouTube videos or things like that. But being able to come in here and all this equipment just available and guys here to just very patiently walk me through it. It was a crash course. I learned more in this 2 weeks than I could have learned in a year easily.
And then not only do I like to just teach, I kind of like to connect afterwards and make sure that you're still on the right path. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to just take this course and kind of feel like you're left with nowhere or no type of guidance. I can be that type of guidance for you.
I'm going to take that knowledge and kind of sit down and diligently work through what I want to do. But ultimately, I want to get some songs out. I want to play out and just kind of see where it goes.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's me, Ski Beats at Sound Collective. Welcome to the dojo. Well, for those who don't know me, I'm a hip-hop producer. Did some cool records with some cool artists, Jay-Z, Camp Lo. Man, look, the list goes on. Basically, the dojo is a community-based type of thing, man, because it's all about, everybody lifting each other up. And they say, still sharpen still, so bring your swords to the dojo. The first thing I'm gonna do off bat is give you a sample, give you 30 minutes, see if you can flip it. That way I can test your skill level. We're gonna get into composing, how to arrange your music, how to sequence your beats. It's all different types of techniques, man, when it comes to production. You can do anything, bruh. It's the dojo. It's where we turn students into senseis.
Welcome to the Sound Collective. Our 28 Broadway facility is fully equipped to provide you with the tools of today's top industry professionals. Are you a DJ looking to practice for your next gig? A drummer who needs a place to practice your rudiments? Looking to host live performances, group events, practice sessions, or more? Need a place to record your next project? Unlock your ability to use all of these amenities and more with the Sound Collective membership. Send us a message to learn more.
Hey, what's up? I'm Lefty.
And I'm Rich Furness, and welcome to Groove City. Lefty and I are both DJs and producers here in New York City. We also work here at the Sound Collective, and we run a record label called Quincy Boy Records with our boy N2N.
Yes, and we couldn't be more excited to bring this new podcast to you, where we bring DJ culture to the forefront, interviewing producers and DJs, telling their backstory, followed by a 30-minute DJ set. So we hope you enjoy it, and thanks so much for watching.
Much love.
Hi everybody, my name is Jacinta Clusellas and this is Introduction to Finale. I am a composer, arranger, and guitarist from Buenos Aires, Argentina, and I have been based in New York for the past 6 years. I am a teaching artist at the New York Philharmonic, and I work as a composer, arranger, and guitarist with multiple projects in the city as well as internationally. In this course, we'll be diving into score setup and layout, different options for note input, getting familiar with tools such as articulations, dynamics, filter tools, and using shortcuts. By the end of this course, you should feel very comfortable with Finale, navigating the software and creating your own music, and you should be ready to export your music in order to share it with producers, recording artists, and musicians. Welcome, and let's dive in.
One cool thing to remember about the pocket operator when they're synced up all together is to make sure you set the volume for all of them. So I'm gonna go over here and press play on all the pocket operators. So the speak is gonna be the main volume out. So let's say I wanna turn down this. It's also gonna turn down the KO since it's connected to that one. So just make sure that all the sounds are set to a good amount, to a good volume. To learn more, go to soundcollective.com.
Hi, I'm John. I produce music under the name Proper Villains, and I'm teaching a course on how to program percussive sounds in Extra Serum. I'm going to show you a quick lesson right now on how to make a TR-808 clap in Serum. Turn your level all the way down, then we're going to assign LFO 1 to the level. We're going to switch it to envelope, and we're going to turn off the BPM sync. Drag this to the left, and now we have a very basic noise pulse. So a clap's just sort of like a little pulse of white noise with teeth. So we're just going to go right in and draw the teeth. Turn on the distortion. We'll pick up our hard clip and just crank that baby. Bring the mix down a little bit. And there you go, a TR-808 clap in Serum. If you like what you've heard and I piqued your interest, check me out on soundcollective.com.
I want to welcome everybody to the Sound Collective. We are a collective for you guys to come and meet as a community. We have a bunch of really awesome events planned for the summer. If you guys want to just dive in, learn Ableton, Logic, learn an instrument like drums, keyboard, vocals, any of that stuff, we'd love to have you, and we're really excited to build with you guys as a community. No further ado, I will introduce my brother, an amazing producer. Lefty's going to go ahead and do a breakdown.
Thank everybody for coming out here for this. So this was like a topper. Had some hats, some bongos and claps. I did an EQ to cut out some of the sharpness of the hat because it was conflicting with the other loops that I had in there, playing hi-hats. Does anybody have any questions? We got another one here. Follow Sound Collective on Instagram to keep up with our events. Thank you guys for hanging out.
Okay, let's complete this big build-up scenario by adding a few more elements to just get it to pop. Yes, there you have it. There you have it. We have our epic build-up breakdown scenario. Peace. Give it that extra drama, extra vibe, and in the same.
My name is Manuel Valera, and this is Modern Composition. I've been fortunate to travel the world playing my own compositions and collaborating with artists like Joshua Bell, Paquito de Rivera, Arturo Sandoval, and many others. I have also received a number of prestigious awards, such as the Guggenheim Fellowship in 2019. I won a Grammy as well, and I've been nominated multiple times in the past. In this course, we will cover fundamental composition concepts, ways to develop harmonic, melodic, and rhythmic ideas, composing using traditional methods as well as in a DAW, and how to prepare your compositions to be played by live musicians, from a small ensemble to a philharmonic orchestra. These skills can help you in a variety of career paths, such as composing for film and TV, arranging for performing artists, as well as your own personal projects. Let's dive in.
This track, OSAA, long journey from demo to drop. My stock beat made on a laptop on tour. Bringing it to my buddy J Criv, us deciding to produce something together, start adding elements, layering a lot of stuff, live instrumentation, working on the drums a bunch. Taking shape. The real icing on the cake, our buddy Sammy, a Cameroonian vocalist, adding his vocals. And then followed by the mixing and mastering process. So the final version. Cool, so that's a bit of this track's story from demo to drop. To learn more, visit soundcollective.com.
Want to thank Sisters and Sounds for hosting this event in conjunction with Sound Collective, and we just want to open the space to everyone.
People ask me all the time, Ariana, how do I get booked? How do I get booked? And the truth is just make and play good frickin' music.
Give space, take space, but don't make yourself small. Establish your boundaries and stand firm.
This is Smack.
We're trying to create a community for DJs and musicians to be able to come, try out equipment. We have all the gear that you guys saw in the performance space, working with these fine gentlemen, Beatport, Serato, Beatsource, DJcity. I'm very excited for this workshop that we have here. Everybody who came also is going to get 1 month free to our online learning platform. You guys have a promo code in the bag if you guys want to check it out. But for now, I'll pass it off to our man, Matsu.
I can do this. Check, check. You guys hear me all good? We good? Cool, cool, cool. I see a lot of familiar faces, some people I don't know. My name is Matsu. I'm here representing for DJcity, Beatsource, and Beatport. Before we get into it, please make some noise for yourselves. These events are not possible without you, so thank you for being here. And big ups to Serato, Sound Collective, everybody that's involved. I feel like New York does not have enough of these events, and even though we feel more connected than ever before online, not to be cheesy, but these kinds of things are irreplaceable. You know, a place to connect with your peers, to try out new gear hands-on before you go and run that credit card for Guitar Center or whatever that is. So yeah, just really excited. We're going to spend the next 45 minutes basically talking through some new equipment, some really cool new exciting functionality on the streaming side. And then at the end, you guys will just get a chance to hang out, kick it, try out new gear, ask us questions. I'm sure you have a lot concerning the new equipment and plenty of other cool, interesting things happening in the DJ world. Yeah, so without further ado, I'm going to hand it off to OP, who's going to walk you guys through some new gear.
What up, everybody? We are going to go over a bunch of stuff today. We're going to start here with the Hercules DJ Control Impulse T7 controller, and then we're going to rock over here to the Rain 4, and then we're going to swap out and then do the FLX10, and then talk about this setup over here with the A9 and the 3000s. So we got a lot to cover real quick. The T7 is not out yet, but it's coming out very soon. And this controller, I think, is pretty dope. It is a basically kind of intro or light controller, right? Meaning that it's on like the light side of Serato, meaning that it will come with Serato DJ Lite. You can upgrade to Pro if you want, or if you have a Pro license, it should be able to work with it. But it also then functions on a professional level, right? So with the spinning platters on it, you can play with it, right? It's just super easy. XLR outputs on the back plus RCAs here as well. USB connection to your computer to be able to rock. What I love about this is that you can swap the actual platters out, or sorry, the records out on this. So, thank you. There we go. These are the records that it comes with, right? Regular 7 inches, and you can swap them out. So real quick, I can put on any 7 inch that I want. So you could do different colors and so on and so forth and make this kind of stop or pop out for you. And also too, you can do your own slip mat on it as well if you want to, very easily. So the key features on here that I love, besides the fact that the platter spin, is stems with Serato, right? So we've all kind of known that stems is out here. This actually has dedicated stem features on here. So as I'm playing the song here, I can press the instrumental button and automatically get the instrumental rocking easy, or just have the vocal. Because there's something in the air. So pretty dope that you can have access to be able to rock with the stems immediately on the controller right here. But there's also a additional set for the stems here. So for your feature set here for your pads, you can actually go to the third one, which is set for stems, and you have more functionality with the stems. And I don't even care, no, I don't even care anymore. It's like we're losing all track of time. I just got one thing on my mind. So really easy being able to press the buttons here. The first one's going to be for your vocals. The second one's going to be for your melody. The third one's going to be for your bass. And the last one's going to be for your drums. The pads below it as you're playing. Baby, one day. You can echo out your vocal. Turn my life around, wow. Echo out the instrumental. So where do we go when everything feels like do a breaker for your instrumental, and then do an echo out for your drums as well, right? So you have the full functionality of the stems here for the pads. Again, here, if you just want to get to the instrumental, the vocal, you can press the buttons here to make that happen, or you can go to the stems feature that's here and be able to do that and make it work. This is set up in kind of a similar style to a lot of other controllers and mixers that you're seeing out there that have performance paddles on it. So you can do effects as you would on like another controller or mixer that's out, right? So as this is playing, so just in the same way that you can hit it up to be able to lock it in, or if you want to hold it as a temporary, you can go down on it. It's the same way as well, which is pretty dope. The thing I also love about this controller is that it has this thing here called the beat match guide. This is not necessarily for pros per se as much as it's for people who are starting off, but what this does is that it helps you to figure out if you're off your basically beat match when you're mixing two songs. There are lights that are here that will tell you if you need to push or pull to get the mix to kind of come together, right? So as you're playing the song, right, you'll see that these lights are lining up here, and this is telling me that I need to kind of forward this up a little bit, and when it gets into beat line, it'll light up. Now, granted, I just kind of did that live just without having to even listen, but basically, as I pushed it, it brought both of those things together, and when it did, the beat line lit up to let me know that they're in beat together as you're going along, right? So for people who are trying to learn how to DJ, this is really great because this will kind of help them to figure out what they need to do as they're listening as they're going along. So this is a great controller. This will be coming out very, very soon. There'll be a bunch of it in the market, so if you're interested in wanting to get it, you can. I like this a lot too because of the fact that it puts you in the range of having something that you can scratch with without having to spend over $1,000. Right now, I think it's retailing somewhere around like $699 or so for purchase. Right. Again, it does come with Serato DJ Lite, but you can upgrade to Pro if you don't have Pro, and then go from there and be able to rock. So this is the T7 controller. Any questions about this? We're gonna run through a bunch of stuff real quick, and we'll make sure Matsu gets up. So we're gonna run through this stuff real fast. Any questions about this controller with the T7? No, actually, that's a good question. Yeah, that was one of the first things that when I got my hands on it and then checked it out, I was like, oh, this is super light. I could take this around and do the gigs without having any questions. So any issues? Yeah, super light, and again, XLR output, so you're gonna get good volume coming out on the flip side. Yep. It actually feels good, to be honest. I was afraid in the beginning that it was going to be a little stiff, but then I started playing with it, and I was like, actually, you can kind of get busy with it and cut. Now, there is a difference, obviously, between a belt drive and direct, right? That's going to be a thing, but I think for what this is, you can get pretty busy with it and not have too much of an issue. Yeah, that's another handle for you. Yep. I believe they are similar size. Yeah, I believe they're similar size. Yeah, and again, you can swap out the record to put whatever you want on it, which is pretty dope as well. So, yeah. And what's great about this, too, is that the technology that they've done with this is that the record basically kind of locks in as a spindle, right? So on some of the other kind of spinning platter turntables, controllers that are out, you have to have like a lock to keep it on. But this literally is just the record being on itself. So as soon as you put the record on, it locks it in, and then when you go to play, it does its thing. So you don't have to worry about any extra key pieces or whatever to try to make it all work, which is pretty dope. Yeah. Any other questions about T7? Yeah. It's coming out soon. It should be out soon. I don't have a full date. I don't want to give the wrong information, but it'll be very soon. They'll have plenty in the market for people to get their hands on. So, yeah. There is a mic input. There's headphones here, both quarter and eighth, and then on the back here, there's a mic in right here. Yeah. And again, RCA, and then also XLR on the back, too, as well. No, just one, unfortunately. Yeah. These are controlling Serato effects. Yeah, so as you see here on the screen, real quick, I have my Serato effects that are here. Is the screen over there? Yeah, there we go. So as I go to trigger, you can see that it's triggering the Serato effects that are there. Yeah, and technically you can put all three of them if you want to. If you turn them on, you can put them all at the same time if you want to. You can have them chain up if you want. It doesn't have a mic EQ, so I got a volume here on it. So just straight, yeah, with it. Yeah. But again, it's a pretty dope controller. If you gotta do small gigs, small clubs, little venues, whatever the case may be, and you like to get busy, this is a great option. It's, again, pretty light. You can get around with it really easy without too much of an issue. So, yeah, T7. I think you'll enjoy it if you get your hands on it. What I will say is again, if you want something that spins with turntables and you don't want to, or as platters on a controller, you don't want to spend $2,000 or above $1,000, this is a great option for you to be able to work with. So yeah. All right, cool. Let me switch over here. We're gonna come over here to the Rain 4. I gotta unplug and turn off and turn back on to a different one. I think for people who came in, you should have received a card for 3 months free of Serato Studio. Did you guys get that? Okay, if you didn't get that, make sure you check your bag for that. There's a card inside your bag. It doesn't, no, I mean, you could cancel it, but you have to remember then to re-sign up again if you want to. But yeah. Okay, let me make sure this is working. Okay, cool. All right, so the next thing we have up here is the Rain 4. I love this controller. It's Rain strong and built tough. And I say it because a lot of the Rain stuff is, right? They're like built like tanks, which is dope. This is technically the first 4-channel controller that Rain has ever made. They've made 4-channel mixers before, but as a 4-channel controller, this is the first one they've ever made. This one, again, has a very strong function and focus on stems, right? Just as we talked about with the T7 before. Same thing here. So on the controller, there are 2 buttons, again, that are focused on both the acapella and the instrumental. So I'm going to go through and play the song real quick. There we go. So there with the acapella, and then with the instrumental right away, right? So what's great about stems is a number of things, right? The first one, obviously, you can have the option just to be able to get those parts and work with them automatically. But think about it in a number of different situations, right? You're in a club, artist shows up, whoever it may be, right? And that artist, you're like, oh, wait, you're my favorite artist. And they're like, yeah, I want to get on a rock. But you don't have their instrumentals. Now you do. Right? You literally just take the acapella out, and now you have the instrumentals, and they can get on a rock and do their songs. And if they happen to forget something, by the way, you bring the vocal back in, they catch up, and then you take it out again, right? Or if they need something to support them on the chorus, you bring the chorus back in with the vocal, and you keep it moving, right? For those who are the mobile DJs and they need the option to be able to talk to their audience, they can take out the vocal and then talk over the instrumental and then jump back in afterwards, right? Karaoke. Same situation, right? You're doing karaoke in spots and you want to be able to do, Serato video with it, then you can literally start taking the vocals out. You have the instrumental, people start singing to it, you bring the vocal back in, they forget the vocals, all the rest of it, right? So having the buttons here to be able to do that is super helpful as you're going along. Now, in similar form, there is also a stems button, which is here. So when you press this button, it will then be able to give you that same layout we were talking about before with the vocal, the melody, the bass, and the drum. So take out the vocals, melody, bass, and drum.
There's a heavy weight you've been trying to hold on to.
And also the buttons below.
But you can lay it all down with me. 'Cause in the end, I'm just trying to show you.
Right, so having that all there with the buttons easy, with the stems a bit to go. Now, what's great about this controller is that you can actually see what's happening on the screen that's here next to the buttons. So if you look here, this information here tells you that is the vocal, the melody, the bass, and the drum, and then also the vocal echo, the instrumental echo, the instrumental breaker, and the drum echo there. So dark club, you're trying to figure out where you're going. Literally all the information is here on the controller, and that will also then work for all of your other performance pads as well, that you can see what's going on here as you're rocking, right, which is pretty dope. I have my samples here, so it says air horn, siren, laser, and what's the last one, white noise, right? So I see what's happening there, and I know what to press at the right time if I need to, right? Now, kind of going back to the stem situation, right, is that there's a feature here on this one called split stems, and this is a crazy one. So playing the song.
You don't need more pain and misery.
When I press this,
and
I have one channel that's the vocal, one channel that's the instrumental, right? And that's at the press of a button for this to be able to split it up. Now, why that's great is that obviously you have volume control, EQ control, and so on and so forth. But now you can also do effects on each of those individually.
Hold on to what we all of your love, 'cause being you, we got a good thing going. Don't cast it off. Just let this now.
Right, so that allows you to basically kind of start messing around with the music in a bit of a different way, right? Technically, because both of these are locked in together, I'm still cutting both of them together at the same time, right? But if I want to, look at the screen. Now I have control over the deck separately from the instrumental.
You say you're tired and you're growing weary. I'm here to give you everything you need.
Right, so this gives you, again, a bit more functionality in terms of like messing with the acapella or just messing with the instrumental as you're going along with this split stem. And when you press it back, it will get you now back into this original track to be able to work with. Now, from a mix standpoint, this can get kind of crazy because you can do the same thing on the other side, right? So you could have one song split up with the acapella and the instrumental on this side, another song acapella and instrumental, and now you have a way to be able to play the song in different parts and such, right? So thinking about different routines and performances and so on and so forth, you can get really creative where you want to go, right? Bring things in and bring them out. You have, again, all your effects that are available to be able to rock with those. So your brain can go super far depending upon, you know, your performance style and what you want to be able to do. So kind of mind-blowing. I think you're trying to catch a breath here on the idea because it's a lot that's there. Also on top of it as well is that the built-in effects for this sound really great. I think there are about 22 or so different effects. You can change those if you want to on here. So you can choose through the ones that are here. The scale down one that you heard earlier was a pretty dope one. There's a riser, matrix, echo out, but you can change those to what you want. So if you hold down on the one that you want and then you turn the knob, you can put it to whatever you want it to be, and then it'll be that. And then you can work with it. So I put it to cyclone here. Actually, go back again and do that. Sorry. Here we go. Cool. So that's there set now.
Your heartaches and pain will all heal with time, girl.
So it's a little bit of a different one than others, right? So you can go through and kind of change these if you want. And then the flip side of that is that you can also then switch this to be Serato effects. So if you want to control the Serato effects as well, you can do that if you have those that you want to work with. So this thing's a beast. I love it a lot. Screen information on here, so you see what the BPM, the time, you see the overall waveform. You have cue points that are set up. You can see the cue points along the way as well. Again, built on the back XLRs. You have RCA. You can connect turntables or CDJs to this if you want to as well to extend it out as you're going along. And it sounds incredible, the Rain 4. Any questions on this one? These feel good. Now, these are not spinning platters, right? So there's a difference between the Rain 1, which are spinning platters, versus this, which are basic kind of regular CDJ type platters, right? But they feel good, and they are responsive. So, yeah, and again, seeing the information on the inside is definitely very helpful as well. So, yeah. Very good question. Unfortunately, you can't do that on here. It's only going to be split stem on one side or the other. So it's going to be acapella and the instrumental on one side, but it won't be that you can have one channel with the vocal, bass, and so on and so forth. I don't know, to be honest. That's something we have to talk about to Rain about to see if they would be interested in doing that. The only issue with that is that once you do that, if you have something on this side here, you have to find a way to like not have this playing and be interrupted. Yeah. So, but good suggestion though. Absolutely. Yep. Yep. Yes. For sure. Okay. So that's a very, very good question. I'll kind of go this real quick. I don't want to go too far because it will get a little complicated. But for the first part is that if you're on a controller that doesn't have the stems already kind of lined up, you always want to make sure that you come here first into your DJ preferences, and you want to come to this section. Oh, actually, no, it's not even here because it's already kind of built in with the stems, so you don't have to even worry about it. But normally, if you weren't connected to a mixer that didn't have the stems, there'd be a stem section here, and you would turn it on. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm blind. Here it is right here. Analyze stem songs, and then you have this turned on. And then also, too, on the controller or mixer that didn't have stems on it, you could change the pad mode feature on it, right? So there'd be a drop down. You can change it to be the sampler, the slicer, or the roll. And I'm hoping that there'll be other pad features in the future that will come along with that, right? Now, what you would do basically is then in your MIDI inside of Serato, then you would go through and you would basically map the pads that you would have on your mixer on a free MIDI channel, right, to then the functions for the stems inside of Serato, right? So kind of in the same situation that you would do it MIDI mapping for cue points or loops or anything else, you do the same exact thing for that with that controller or that mixer, and then afterwards you just save it, and then you have that XML file that would then be for particular mapping that you've made. Potentially could, right? I generally tell people that they should go to a free MIDI channel or MIDI pads that are set on the mixer controller to be able to do it, or if you have an external piece of gear, you can map that as well to make that work. Yeah. So good question. Yeah. Any other questions about the Rain 4? Okay, cool. Let's switch over here to this one. Yeah, we can slide over. That's all good. That should be, yeah, Mike. Okay, cool. Speaking about that 3-month free trial for Serato Studio that's in your bag, the stems feature for Serato Studio works very well for DJ edits. So obviously all of you here in DJs, if you are interested in trying to do remixes, mashups, so on and so forth, Serato Studio is an incredible program to be able to do that with. Obviously, you can record stuff inside of Serato with the stems, but being able to see all your waveforms laid out, have stuff be able to also BPM sync and key sync automatically when you pull it in to be able to make your edits and remixes, it works very, very well. So something to consider as you have that 3 months that you might want to consider doing some stuff with that. So let me get another song here real quick. Here we go. Cool. All right. So this is the FLX10 controller from Pioneer DJ, which has been out recently in a similar fashion to what the 1000 SRT is, but this has a bit more. This works with both Serato DJ Pro and also a Record Box DJ. So if you like to go between either one of those programs, then you can use this controller to play with either one of those as you're going along. Again, kind of talking about some of the features with stems. On this one here, it's set up that you can do the drums, the vocal, and the instrumental for your stems if you want to automatically, right? So as I'm playing the song here, just jump ahead a little bit.
It's not worth your time.
So pretty much instantly, again, being able to press the buttons and have the stems feature right there available for you to get busy with without having to have too many questions on it, right? Now, what makes this one different is two different things. The first one is that with the effects, you can actually set it to be where you can select the stem part that you want the effect to be able to work on, right? So I'm going to put on the echo here, and play this here.
Stop trying to change who you are, honey. You'll find, all mothers are queens, all women with queens.
So in that situation right there, I had it set for the low cut echo, and I just had the vocal selected. So it was only echoing the vocal while the melody and the drums were still playing regular, right? Now I'm gonna flip that to make it just be the drums, right?
The world is ours. Hey, we're gonna have that girl,
So again, there now just the drums being affected with the echo. And then if I do the same thing with the instrumental, but let's change that to be the flanger instead. I'm sorry. So let's do that real quick. So post fader. Yeah, so you can make that happen if you want to, right? So technically it's on the Rain 4, it's post fader on the Rain 4, right? But with this is being very specific towards the actual effect on the actual stem itself, right? If you break it out. That's right. On the Rain 4, you could do that if you did the kind of split stem, and you could do the vocal for the echo out if you wanted to that way as well. So that's, yeah, good point. But yeah, this is a great feature for having that effects part selection there, which is pretty crazy. There's also one other thing here. I'm going to hold down Shift and press Q here. Okay, and this should work.
the night is up where the moon is bright. We're gonna have that girl talk. Stop feeling like you're not good.
So here I'm using the EQs here to control the amount of volume coming in for the stems.
Never fall in love. Listen to the noise. Don't you give up. Don't you give up, no. Keep on waiting. Don't wanna stop meditating. Tonight the world is ours. Hey.
So that's the stem isolation part there, which is pretty crazy, right? So if you want to bring the vocal in slowly, you can be with the EQ down here and then kind of gradually kind of bring it up, or vice versa with the melody or instrumental that is. And same thing with the drums. Or you want to beef up the drums, turn them up, not by EQ, but also then here by volume, right? Then you would then turn the bass knob, which would then turn up the volume for that particular part. Yeah, so right here. So this is now drums out, bringing the volume up on the drums for the stem, bring them up even further by volume. Yeah, so pretty interesting what you can do there to try to like beef up some stuff. Now think about this from the perspective of if you have a older track, let's say it's like a Motown track or something like that, right? And like maybe the drums are a little bit further back in the mix, but you want to have it bump a little more on the dance floor, like, you know, some four tops or whatever, and you're playing a wedding, right? Turn it up, right? So it's not turning up the bass as much as it's turning up the volume of the drums by the stem. So now it's giving that some more volume for people to better feel it and dance with. So yeah, really interesting for like kind of re-drumish kind of stuff as well as you're going along. Yep, so you hold down Shift and then press the Q button, and you'll see that in white it says part ISO or part isolation, right? Which is going to be basically the stem isolation there. And then you can increase the volume on that particular channel by going for the parts that are here. The Shift button is here, and then the Qs that you would do for your normal headphone queuing. Yeah, Q right here is what it is right there. And it does that. So it's a really, really dope feature on this controller that you're not going to find on anything else. So, you know, all the things that I've showed you here with all these controllers with the stems, each one does something slightly different, right? But this one's pretty unique because it has this feature here with that kind of stem isolation with the volume on it, which is pretty dope. So, yeah. This is above $1,000. Yeah, above $1,000 for sure. It is available now. You can find it out in the market. Yeah. So it's I think it's somewhere in that range, a little bit higher, maybe. 16 actually, yeah, thank you. Yeah, so a little bit more, but this is the same kind of form function as the 1000 SRT, right? So a little bit bigger, slightly, right? But flip side of it is like same form function, platters are dope, and then now you got the isolation parts with the stems and everything else. The rain, I think, is in the 1500 range, 615, 1600 range as well. Yeah, yeah, so, yeah. So it depends on what you want. And part of the reason why we wanted to show you all these is that these functions are now kind of like a part of our workflow as DJs, right? But depending upon where you are at cost or what feature you want or so on and so forth, there are options in the market for you to be able to choose between one or the other, right? You don't have to be stuck on just one thing. If you like certain things, you go for that, or if price range fits your budget, you go for that. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. And he's talking about this section up here with the loop section. That's a good one, and we need to talk to Pioneer DJ about that to see if they can sort that out. Yeah. Technically, no, that's more of a firmware thing that they would have to update for that. So hopefully they can do it. We'll see. We'll ask them and see what's up. The back. Oh, sorry. How heavy is it? Yeah, it's pretty light. Pretty much like an SRT. For the most part, so like just like I said, a little bit bigger. So if you have a bag that fits the SRT, you might want to see if this fits with it, right? It's just a little bit, yeah, a little bit wider, a little bit taller, just slightly, just by a little bit. But otherwise, it's pretty much in the same vein in terms of controller. Yep. Very good question on that. And I'll make this quick because I want to jump into the A9 here real quick and then get Matsu on here as well. So when you're doing your stems, right, the stems will basically, if you're on a fast computer like an M1, M2, potentially even this new M3 that's supposed to be coming out later this year, right? These computers are fast enough to the point that when you load the song up, it's automatically going to analyze the song and then give the stems available for you to be able to, choose from. So your vocal, your bass, your melody, your drums, you can just press the buttons and it'll be able to catch it real quick, right? Now, if you're on an older computer, right, then it might take a second for it to catch up depending on what the processor is on that computer, right, and kind of how the computer runs. But there is a feature inside the program. There's a stems folder that's here, right? And so what you can do is you can take the songs that you want and you can throw them into your stems folder, and it's going to process the song and then break it into its parts. And when it lights up as white here, then it will basically be set that anytime you load the song up, you'll be able to play it automatically, right? Now, with that being said, is that in the background, you're going to have 4 different pieces of the file that are going to live on your computer. One for the vocal, one for the melody, one for the bass, and one for the drums, right? It's suggested, right? You put the songs in here that you need to use versus doing your whole library, right? Because if you do your whole library, and that's 1 song, 2 songs, 3, 4, 1,000 songs with 4 extra files for each one of them. So your hard drive space is going to get eaten up automatically, right? But if you know that you're doing a certain gig, okay, cool, I need this song, this song, this song, this song, throw them in, you have them, and then they're always going to be ready for you to start separating when you load them up and you're good to go, right? If you go to the Serato website, it will have the recommended specs for your computer, and you should definitely, without question, look at that and pay attention to it. If you're on an old 2012 computer, I've had plenty of DJs come to me and say that they're still rocking with that and they're never going to change. This is the time to let that go and move forward into the future, right? And I'm just being very honest, right? And I had to say that for myself as well because I had an old 2015 and I was holding on to it real tight, like, yo, it's held me down. I'm good, right? And I had to let it go, right? Because I knew if I wanted to move forward in the future and use the stems, it was going to happen. And I've seen it, unfortunately, where some DJs have tried to do that live with an older computer, and it has not worked in their best favor, right? So, again, and I'm not saying you have to go buy a new computer, right? But I'm saying keep yourself future forward and future proofed to be able to use this technology that's moving forward, right? So, just something to consider. Yeah. Very good question, right? So the video file is still the same, right? Because with video, it's basically pulling the audio as you would normally would with Serato video. So the video is still going to be the same. But then in the background, if you did the stems part, you would have those 4 parts. Or if you're doing it live and your computer can handle it, then it'll just be able to do it automatically. Yeah, so for like VJing and all the rest of that, it's a whole game changer. And one last question real quick before we move on. Yes, so with the caveat, right? So yes, I've used Beatport and Beatport and Beatsource to be DJing with and being able to do the stems live with it, right? Playing in acapella or instrumental, whatever the case may be. You cannot record with streaming files inside of Serato, right? So with that being said, if you're trying to do a mix and you're using those files, unfortunately, those will not allow you to be able to record if you have the record button on inside of Serato. Now, if you're playing regular, all good, but as soon as you hit that record, you try to load those songs up, it's not going to work in the same way. So, yeah. Legal. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, yes. And what's great about that as well is that technically Studio looks at the song, not just the acapella. So it's looking at it by the grid of the song. So when you bounce out the acapella, it's actually taking it from the one on the beat of the song, but it's just the acapella. So it's going to line up. So when you put it into another DAW or anything else, it's going to be in time, which is a really dope trick. Serato Studio, and you can do that super fast, like literally within seconds, you can make that happen. You can play in Serato DJ, you can record out in Serato DJ, but it's not going to be in a grid situation as it would be inside a studio. So that's why Studio is a really great, kind of DJ edit tool along with beat making as well. Yeah, cool. Good question. Let's jump over here real quick to the A9. I want to get Matsu on because he got some really exciting things to be to show as well. So I'm going to unplug from here. Thank you all. And I want to give a big shout out to Sound Collective for letting us be here in their space. We are crowded here tonight. This is beautiful. And big shout out to everybody here in the New York City tri-state area for coming through. We appreciate you. And big shout to Dazzler coming from the West Coast, representing for the Beatsource, Beatport, DJcity fam. We appreciate you. Cool. All right, so lastly here real quick, we're going to talk about HID mode inside of Serato with the 3000s. And this here, which is the A9 mixer. So a lot of you are going to clubs and you're DJing with, give me 1 second, make sure all this is all connected, right? All right, dope. There we go. Perfect. And you guys can see this as well, right? We got to move it a little bit more over. That should be close enough to be able to see what's going on. Okay, cool. If we didn't have so much gear to show, this wouldn't be so much of a problem, but we got like the whole Sweetwater Guitar Center, AGI Pro all up in one spot. This is crazy, but it's really dope though to see so much gear out in the market right now. Like you don't have to be stuck with one thing, which is pretty exciting. So, all right, so this is the A9 mixer. This is the update to what is the 900 Nexus 2, right, which has been a staple in clubs for a very long time, over 6 years, almost 7 years or so. And so they've now updated it. Similar form layout, but a couple things that are kind of unique to it that stand out. The first thing is that there's a lot more space on the mixer. So in terms of being able to get to your EQs and filters, there's actually a bit more space here. So if you have bigger hands and you're used to getting kind of knocked in between things, this gives you a little more space to be able to work with. The section here for the sound coloring effects is now changed a little bit. Now you have 6 sound coloring effects that are here: filter, noise, sweep, crush, dub echo, and space. But there's this lock here, center lock. So for some people, especially if you're playing a lot of dance music, EDM, so on and so forth, as you're playing your songs, there we go. Oftentimes when you're doing filter sweeps, if you happen to go over by accident, right, you kind of go over too high or too low, right? Now you can put this lock on, so it actually locks when you get back to 12 o'clock. right? So it prevents you from, by accident, going too far as you're going along doing your filter sweeps, which is a pretty helpful thing. And that can be really helpful, especially if you're doing dub echo and space and all the rest of it. It just kind of locks in, and you can just kind of press down on it for it to go past that point. So that's a nice little feature that's been added onto it. The queuing system is all set up different now here too, so you can actually queue both between headphone A and B, which is great. So if two people are playing at the same time, now you can do separate queuing on here, which is super, super helpful. It's the same thing also too, going out for your master queue as well over here. And there's the mono split on here as well, which is super helpful for those who like to have that mono split. That feature is here. I know a lot of people ask for that, especially when they're playing with dance music. The mic section is a little bit different here as well. So there's a mic effects that's been added on here. So you can have now added on echo, pitch, or megaphone with your vocals as you're going along. So instead of you having to route the mic over here with your beat effects, you can now have a dedicated section for your mic with the effects here, which is super helpful, right? And there's also a dedicated mic reverb, which is separate from these as well, right? So for performance sakes, this actually adds on a lot as you're going along and doing your thing, right? Sound card sounds amazing on here, updated. I can't, was it 96? Is it 96K? I can't remember what the, it just sounds great. It bangs. And 900X2 sounded great. This sounds even better, which is great. And you can also connect, again, external pieces of gear. This is the RMX 1000. You can run that through either the cinema returns, or you can connect it via USB if you need to as well, to be able to have that run and rock, right? Now, adding that on is that with this, you can play both Serato and Record Box. If you're doing with Serato, you have the ports here, A and B, as you would normally, but the ports now allow you to do either USB-B or USB-C here, right? So as we're moving forward with these computers, now moving over to USB-C, you can run a USB-C cable directly from your computer directly here if you want to make that happen. So it's super helpful, as we're going along, which is pretty dope, right? You can also add Bluetooth on with this as well. So if you need to pair your phone up to the mixer to have audio playing, then you can connect your Bluetooth. I've done it plenty of times with my phone where I've been, just press it, it sees my phone, I lock it in. If I want to play my Spotify playlist or whatever else the case may be for whatever situation, I can do that directly from my phone and make that happen there with that. HID mode with the 3000s. 3000's been out for a while. We love them. Right, easy to switch, go to source. And actually what's interesting here is that we have Matsu with his drive that's connected, but it also sees, because I'm connected to my computer, that the control mode CDJ shows up. And when I press this here, this now controls, oh, is it? Okay, there we go, thank you. Cool, and I'll select this to be deck 2 for Serato. Cool, and I can load songs up, go to browse, pull up a song, and basically start playing music automatically with it, right? HID mode, human interface device, basically allows you to have basically what you have going on inside of Serato here on the CDJs. So I see full waveforms here, I see my grids here, I see my cue points, I can get to my loops very easy on it. I can browse my library by going to browse here, and then being able to pick songs and or being able to go through stuff and then load it up as well and make it happen, right? So super easy. Now this is Matsu's computer, so I don't know all of his crates that are here, but I know that he has a bunch of music here and I can get to it very easy by being able to have the HID situation connected here. So HID 3000s, A9, super powerful thing for you to be able to use. I'm gonna let Matsu talk about now the Beatport and Beatsource integration with the 3000s on here, because that's gonna take it to a whole new level, what you can do.
Yeah, a couple things before I get into the streaming side. Just from a personal note, I've been using the A9 now for a couple months. Build quality is amazing. The crossfader feels way, way better. I scratched a lot, and this is the first 900 mixer that I'm really, really enjoying actually cutting on compared to an S11. The way that the effects save, right? So you can select frequency bands for effects like you could on the Nexus 2, but now you can save, or it remembers what you had selected. So you see for echo, I prefer to keep my lows out of an echo, but maybe for a reverb, I want the full frequency spectrum. So it actually saved those as I go back and forth. And the integration with HID mode, this has been my preferred kit to play on, especially for dance focused sets. It's like having the full functionality of the full Pioneer kit, but having a sampler inside of here, being able to use Serato, the comfortability of my crates, being able to organize stuff, use Prepare, SP6, all that fun stuff. So yeah, this mixer is a lot of fun. This kit's a lot of fun with HID mode. Another interesting piece of hardware, I don't know how many of you guys have been seeing this kind of making a comeback, this RMX 1000. It's actually an older piece of Pioneer gear. I think it came out like 10 or so years ago. But a lot of house DJs, Chris Lake, Mochak, Clooney, a lot of them are using this again. You basically can use it with the A9 as an insert here. So right now I have it set up to grab all the information coming out of the master channel, or I can select crossfader A, crossfader B, post fader, or specific channels. I'll just play something, for example, right? I have this tune here, and I have the insert running through the master. It's actually running into the RMX and then back out into the master. So I can do things like add reverb to it, make these really big builds, and it has a drum machine that's built into it with an SD card. So there's a pretty straightforward 909 in here, right? You can do, everything is quantized to the BPM that's coming out of the mixer, and if for any reason it doesn't, like it is right now and it's being a little fussy, you can tap it in, and everything you do is quantized, so I can do snare rolls. You can do like really big builds with this, right, if I just like lock in a snare. I can add a bunch of reverb on top of it. Really, really big dramatic builds. And then you can go into drops like that. So, super fun piece of gear that's kind of making a comeback. They're only like on the used market. I bought this one used. I have not been able to find a new one. I think they're back ordered for forever. So, if this looks like something fun, scour eBay. If you play dance music, this is a lot of fun. It's making a comeback, and it sounds current again. So, off the hardware, let's get into some cool software stuff. So, we'll start on the Beatsource side. Show of hands, who has used any sort of streaming service inside of their Serato yet? Wow, cool. All right, I'll keep this brief. I'll give you guys an overview of what Beatsource is. Here's my Oprah moment. Everybody's getting a free trial to Beatsource and to Beatport streaming. The only catch is we're going to send out a code and information after we're done here, so I can do a more involved demo session with y'all one-on-one, take an hour, really show you guys the ins and outs. But here's the overview. So Beatsource is not a record pool. Beatsource and DJcity are two completely different things. Beatsource is a fully licensed DSP, just like Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, all those. What does that mean? The first one is that we get a direct pipeline from record labels, so all releases come directly through to us, and we're the only platform that has the rights to do remixes and edits. So there's about 20 years of there's about 20 years of like DJcity edits that are now on Beatsource. And all the new stuff that's coming through to us, we're the only ones who can do fully licensed versions of those as well. So all that's here inside of Beatsource. On top of that, what makes this different from other DSPs that function inside of Serato, there are decades of curation and DJ experience that go into these curated playlists right here. So the entire team over at Beatsource spends a lot of time making these curated playlists for different vibes. So for example, I know nothing about country music. If I go to this country piece right here, I get booked for a gig. Hey, man, a gig is a gig, right? So if I get booked for that country gig, I got to make quick work. I can go in here. I can look at these 2022 country hits, 2010s country hits that have been curated by people who understand these genres. I can stream them directly inside of Serato. It's as easy as just loading it up on the deck. You don't need a crazy internet connection. We got Morgan Wallen bumping. We got the country gig going crazy. So the best part is I don't have to commit to this. I don't have to go to an iTunes store and download this. I don't have to commit to the MP3 being on my computer forever. So I can grab requests like this on the fly. On the fly, if I'm doing a wedding, Meemaw, Peepaw come up, and I gotta grab one of these from the cut. I'm good. So you can stream these, and then let's say you want just that added extra of security. I know I'm not gonna have any internet connection. I'm doing something way out in the boonies. You actually have a Beatsource locker right here, which allows you to store up to 1,000 tracks offline. The same way, like, if you're going on a flight and you download that Netflix movie to your iPad, you don't actually get the full MP4. It's like an encrypted file type. So you can't drag that file into Ableton, but it is stored natively to your machine. On top of that, all your hot cues that you set for a track are actually stored to your device. So you don't have to have the track saved in your locker to then pull it back up out of streaming and get those hot cues that you set earlier. So super, super interesting stuff here. I mean, this has been a lifesaver for me as I'm like exploring new genres. Sometimes I'm like, I need to know what's popping on TikTok, what's new, I got to catch up. I think this is a great tool for everybody who's learning how to DJ, not quite sure where to start, and wants some direction and some curation, all the way up to like seasoned vets and pros who want to just stay on top of things. And then, streaming in the club, being able to access requests, or, the example OP mentioned, when you have an artist show up and you didn't know they were going to be there, and all of a sudden you need their music, you don't have, whoever's latest hit, you can get it right here inside of Beatsource. So super interesting. That's a quick overview of Beatsource. We'll shift over to Beatport. On the CDJs here, you'll notice there's a new option here instead of Source, which has the Beatport logo on it. These CDJs are hardwired via Ethernet to the internet, and without my computer, actually, I could unplug it if I wanted to. I logged into my Beatport account on this CDJ, and I can stream Beatport directly into the CDJ. So which means I can show up to any club in the world. Let's say I have my playlist here, right? Here's one. I made a chart for a release I had not too long ago. Here's some tunes. I can show up to a club anywhere in the world, forget my stick, forget my Serato, whatever, and I can make a playlist on Beatport. As long as it's hardwired into the internet, I can load up my track and be good to go. Set cues, scratch with it, the whole nine. This is like a crazy, crazy leap forward in technology. I cannot stress this enough. Beatsource is actively working to get this same kind of integration done. There's no exact timeline, but what that means is both the open format world and the dance world are now going to be entirely streamable within a CDJ anywhere you are on the planet. You don't need a flash drive. You don't need a laptop. Actually, sorry. The one thing, you do need a flash drive to be plugged in to save cue point data. So I have this one here. But, most clubs will just have a flash drive that lives there with like a Serato tone or whatever. So that is Beatport integration inside of the CDJ. Amazing. Any questions before I move on to this last bit? Yeah, so it's the same way you use an Ethernet hub to LAN link CDJs and your mixer together for BPM sync. This is hardwired into the internet. It's like a router. Yeah. Anybody else? Yes. I actually do not know off the top of my head. There is a page on Beatsource that has all of the prices listed out. Same thing with Beatport. I will make sure to get you that link at the end here, but I don't remember off the top of my head. Anybody else? Yes, it is a 3,000 only option. Yeah, so a couple pieces. The first one was when Beatsource first started, there were no remixes, edits, or bootlegs. Now Beatsource has licensing to do those. So a lot of really incredible remixers have their own versions that are up there. They're fully licensed. Those are accessible. Inside of Beatport streaming, right, you're not necessarily committed to using just one platform. I could be using, if I had 4 CDJs, I could have one of them running a flash drive. I could have another one of them running HID mode, another one running Beatport streaming, and I think theoretically I could have another one running Beatsource streaming, and that becomes available. So you're not necessarily committed to just using one at once. And even with Beatport streaming, unlike on the Denon Prime stuff, I can be logged in on my Beatport here, and my friend can have theirs logged in here, and we can do back-to-backs off of 2 different logins. So I bounce around between different platforms. I think there's advantages to different ones. I find my music in all sorts of different places. It's really whatever fits your workflow and how you find a way to integrate those all together. But the flexibility is nice. And I'll add this as well. One of the really interesting things about Beatsource and the Beatport streaming is that when it's licensed, it's actually paying out royalties to artists. So this is the first time that you can play a song out and it counts as a stream for an artist. I think that's incredible. We always talk about trying to find ways to make sure artists are getting paid. What better way to start? Yes. Yeah, so I mean, the way that Beatsource operates is we have deals that are for entire catalogs. So one thing that's incredible about using it is if you get a request for, I don't know, something that came out years ago, you can search inside of Beatsource and you get thousands and thousands of results. All you have to do is toggle on this little blue B button up on the top right. And yeah, you can search deep, deep, deep. So unless an artist pulled their music from all DSPs, it's probably still there. And we have license deals with all the major labels, and we're adding tons and tons of new indie labels all the time. So the expanse is pretty wide. If you can think of it, it's probably on there. Yeah, so this is the DJM A9 from Pioneer, CDJ 3000s. This is the RMX 1000, and then I'm running Beatsource and Beatport inside of Serato and directly on here. I'll add too that Beatport is available within Serato as well. So if you want to give it a try there first, or you have 2000s, you can just use Beatport streaming inside of Serato.
Yeah. When you play those songs, it remembers the play count. So when you connect back onto your account, it will then register those play counts for that artist.
Great point.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. I have yeah, Bad Bunny's getting them streams. Got it. So for Beatsource, right? Yeah, Beatsource is $9.99, and then with remixes it was $34.99 a month. Cool. All right, this last piece I'll show you guys is an interesting piece of functionality that just came out on Beatport. Beatport now has built-in DJ streaming inside of the website. If any of you are familiar with the Beatport navigation, it's a little bit tough sometimes, a little bit slow to like preview tracks, dig for music. Normally what I do is if I'm going to Beatport with like a wish list, I'll search them one by one, and then I kind of have my card at the end. Now they have a built-in piece of DJ software that you can actually leave on autoplay in the background. So for example, right, I'm looking through just like the top 10. I can sit here and just kind of drag stuff in. I have like speed. I can add effects. I can loop it. I have a pretty basic EQ here. So one thing that I've been doing is I'll like grab a playlist or I'll go to a DJ chart. Let's pick a random one. And I'll just throw these in the background while I'm like doing laundry, doing dishes or whatever. I'll let this auto mix, or maybe I'll come over. It's like, it's a low commitment. I'll do a little blend here. I can sync. Nobody's judging me. And what this actually does is it builds out a playlist for me based off of the stuff that I played. So I'll just leave this in the background, when I'm doing my thing. I'll come back to it and I'll be like, oh yeah, I heard this song that I really, really liked. I want to add this to another playlist. So I can go into my recently played, skim through these, build out a cart. Super interesting piece of functionality. On top of that, you can do back-to-backs. So let's say you're preparing for a set with your homie who lives on the other side of the country. You can do a live back-to-back. You just be like, yo, I'll do the left side, you do the right side. You can dig for music together, and then it'll make a playlist for you based off of all the stuff you found. Hypothetically, you could then take that playlist, show up to the club, log in on your CDJ, and everything that you guys are prepping online is going to show up on your CDJ ready to go. I don't think so, no, because the cue points are stored natively to whatever drive is plugged in. So I would recommend, if you're at home, you prep, whatever cue points on your flash drive, just bring that same drive so that the cues translate over. This is a pretty new piece of functionality. I haven't used it a ton, so you bring up a good point. Cool. Yeah, I think the other fun thing is you can do like a party mode, like, you can play music and have your friends log in and like listen to your session while you're prepping. Zoom DJing on another level. Yeah, this is definitely super cool. There's lots more to learn here. In the interest of time and letting you guys all get your hands on gear, I'm going to wrap it up if you guys don't have any more questions. Cool. Let me see if we got anything else here. Oh, last thing, just from like a DJcity perspective. We're always looking for ways to support the community. A lot of y'all make really, really dope routines, dope edits, and then you post them to IG where you never send them to anybody, and they kind of just live there, and that's it. Please send us stuff. I came up sending routines to DJ. Like my introduction was sending routines, and like being featured was really important for me and my personal growth and my career, and that's helped me kind of get my name out there. So if you're making cool stuff, please send it to us. Don't be a stranger. We're always looking for cool new content to share, new edits, remixes. Please. Yes. Yeah, email's the best. I will put my email address for you guys to contact in the email blast that goes out at the very end. Cool. Thank you all so much for being here. Big up Serato, Sound Collective, everybody. On your way out, if we could all take one big group picture up in the atrium, that would be dope. I think that's the best place to do it. So as you're making your way out, hang out in that little stairwell area, and we'll get a big group picture.
And yeah, make sure you don't leave because there will be a raffle. We're going to be giving away some goodies, so don't leave just yet. I think we're here till 9, so we got a good about hour and 15, 20 minutes or so to rock. So please feel free to go out and test out some of the gear. We'll bring some of the stuff that we have out
Peace, everyone. My name is Devon Drummer. Been producing a little over 30 years. I've done tracks for the likes of Elder Sensei, Sadat X, Bumpy Knuckles, Georgia Ann Muldrow, Scatter RP, and Naps and Dreads, and a slew of others, man. I'm down at the Sound Collective today to show you about the beast of an app called Koala. This app is so fire. I promise you, you'll be making beats like no other. Once you